He shouldn't have been shot. Right?
No, he shouldn't have.
He should not have been
Of
shot.
course not.
That said, he is responsible for getting shot. Look, I'm just saying, no one wants to have this conversation, and I don't understand why. Because avoiding this conversation for me is causing more black men to get shot than just kind of having the uncomfortable conversation in the first place.
Yes, I know.
Which
he should not have gotten back into his car and attempted to evade the police.
where were you going? And once again, this is not even victim blaming. Once again, I'm very clear. He should be here today. I believe this is a tragic accident. I believe that woman did not intend to kill this guy. Look, mistakes happen. Like, you could be doing something perfectly for years, right? Because pulling a weapon is kind of a reflex, whether it's the taser or your gun. I believe the taser is on your weak hand side and your gun's on your strong hand side. I believe, from what I read. And so, like, officers, they put their tasers on the weak hand side. And so you grab your taser and you use your weak hand versus the gun that's your strong hand side, right? And so she's a trainer, so she's probably done the right thing correct for years. But on this particular day, the neurons were firing the wrong way, right? He made the situation volatile. He did, because you try to go back to your car. Once again, I'm really trying to have this conversation without somebody calling me a coon, because I don't understand why this is such a hard thing for black people to grasp, that we have to at least try to put ourselves in their shoes, man. Like, in police officers' shoes, they don't know you. Like, she don't know this dude from nothing. All she knows is your record. And when she pulled up that there's an outstanding warrant out for you, now you are a criminal to her. And so all she knows is, I pulled over this criminal. Now I'm trying to arrest this criminal. This criminal is now trying to get into his car away from me to flee, as I'm trying to prevent him from fleeing. Right? Daunte Wright should be alive, because the cop should have tased him, and that should have been the end of the situation. So the bullet took his life, which is tragic. That said, what caused her to make this mistake in the first place was him not complying. He made this a hostile situation. Now, I get it. He doesn't want to go to jail. And there's a conversation to be had. And I want to make sure I have this information right before I proceed, to make sure that the warrant was about the gun charge. Hold on, just give me 1 second. All right. Officer said when they sought to detain him for announcing the warrant, right? Okay, the nature and insider reviewed court documents that named Wright, one of which was a warrant for his arrest. After arrest, that the police announced custody of the warrant. That All right, so here we go. First case. Wright was accused of carrying a weapon without a permit and fleeing from police. They detailed charges that Wright carried a pistol without a permit and ran from police. A complaint filed on March 4th said that Wright had an encounter with police on June 30th in Minneapolis. It said officers responded to a call about a man with a gun and found Wright in a car with other people. The complaint said Wright ran away from the officers, who chased but did not catch him. It said a loaded handgun was found in the car. Another record showed that Wright was due to attend a court hearing via Zoom on April 2nd. A warrant for Wright's arrest was then filed, suggesting he did not attend the hearing. This was the warrant that the police were acting on over the weekend, officials told the Daily Beast. Arthur Martinez, the public defender who represented Wright, said neither he nor Wright had ever seen the document. He obviously didn't get it, and no one notified me. The last document submitted on Tuesday said the case was being dismissed because of Wright's death. So, okay, yes, it appears that that the warrant was because of him carrying a pistol without a permit. Once again, he was fleeing the police, so this is a pattern of behavior for him. And once again, this isn't saying that he deserved to be dead. He deserved to be in prison because of this warrant. And so it is the female officer's, mistake that he is deceased. My point is, though, we have to have a conversation with black boys and in general. Look, you have to submit yourself to the authorities, man. Like, what positive outcome is going to happen by you running from the police?
None.
Almost none at this point. Like, where are you going? Even if you get away, now you have a warrant out for your arrest, which means the next time you come in contact with the police, it is going to be most likely a very contentious outcome. Mm-hmm. And so I just don't understand why it's so complicated having this part of the argument. I never hear this part of the argument because this is a very important part of the argument, and we never have it. George Floyd, God rest his soul, another one. There's no upside to resisting arrest. And so
he wasn't. Wait, no. George Floyd, I don't think can really be. Did he resist arrest or did
yes, he resisted arrest.
Okay, but still, his death could have been entirely prevented. I don't think you can compare the two things, though.
We will agree to disagree. Once again, the cop kneeling on George Floyd, yes, he took his life, in my opinion. The case is going on, but my opinion, yes. That said, my point is, what is constantly leading to these black men having these contentious relationships in the first place? That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
There's no upside to you of resisting. None. And we do this thing where we never talk about this side of, and here's the thing. These dudes are dead. You don't come back from death. Mm-hmm. You don't it pains me seeing these dudes dead and gone at 20, 22, 23 years old. They haven't even lived life, haven't experienced life because no one tells them, hey, you should kind of just submit to the authorities. And if some abuse takes place, fight it out, legally, ask for the badge number, ask for, because you are in a struggle with someone who is armed, who has the legal authority to take your life if they deem you to be a threat. And so we can have all these conversations about defund the police and get rid of the police and all this other stuff. Cool. But guess what? What are we telling black boys and black men to do when they encounter police? We just never had that discussion.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, wouldn't you want your brother, hey, if he gets stopped by the police, wouldn't you hope your brother complies?
Yes, I would, of course.
And then if it comes out that a cop was punching him in the face or violating his rights, then you and your family would take care of that post the encounter. Mm-hmm. But if your brother spazzes out, I mean, there's a high probability that your brother ends up getting shot, and then he's dead, he's gone. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know. I just don't think we're responding to these cases the right way. The Daunte Wright shooting, to me, I don't understand why we're protesting this. Like, what are we protesting? Everyone kind of agrees that this is an unfortunate event. Even the cop herself, she turned herself in. She resigned. Mm-hmm. I don't think she's going to plead not guilty to the second degree manslaughter charge.
Yeah.
So what exactly are we doing? I think this is kind of just our reflex that Black America does whenever there's a police shooting. And to me, that shows I don't think we're actually being smart about this.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
That's
a valid point.
Yeah.
I think no. I agree with your points about people needing to be about teaching people how to respond to police altercations. Definitely trying to resist arrest and trying to run and trying to do all that is definitely not a smart thing to do, and it does happen a lot.
You could be in the right too. Once again, I'm not saying that you're you could be dead right, like didn't do anything wrong, of course. Mm-hmm. And it's still, for me, it's not about right and wrong. It's about especially when I talk to men or about men, I approach men from like a very logistical place, practicality, right? You ain't getting away from these people 9 times out of 10. If you run from police officers, even if you get away from them, now you have to be looking over your shoulder 24/7 until the next encounter. Mm-hmm. Just submit, deal with the encounter, and then move on.
Yeah, but again, I still think that this case is different from the George Floyd case. I will say, it's a different situation.
Okay, so what would you have told George Floyd?
I just feel like, but like, okay, so even if he was resisting arrest, I just feel like that cop had malicious intent to begin with. Because for what reason do you have to kneel on somebody's neck for almost 9 minutes? Whereas,
even if he did have malicious intent, how does my advice not apply?
The cause, yes. I'm just saying, it's two different. Okay, I'm just saying, it's different in the regard. Whereas there are bad cops who still set out to do bad things when they are unnecessary. So I believe that they are different in that regard. I don't think that they're the same.